Apparently, according to Tom Holman, Donald Trump's border czar, knowing your rights as an American citizen, whether you're here as an immigrant or here natural born, is obstructing justice. Knowing your rights under the Constitution is impeding an investigation. All this is stemming, of course, from Tom Holman and ICE acting like the Gestapo, trying to root out immigrants in this country, knowing full well what kind of damage it's doing. What I'm about to play for you is a clip of him saying this exact thing in an interview with CNN's Dana Bash. Play the clip.
Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for hosting a webinar for immigrants called Know Your Rights with ICE. I want to play what you said.
Is that impeding our law enforcement efforts? If so, what are we going to do about it? Is she crossing the line? So I'm working with the Department of Justice and finding out where is that line that they cross. So maybe AOC is going to be in trouble now.
Are you suggesting that she should be prosecuted?
I'm suggesting, and I'd ask the Department of Justice, where's that line on impediment, right? It's a broad statute. So I know impeding with someone stopping in front of me and putting their hands on my chest so you're not coming in here and arrest that guy, that's clearly impeding. But at what line, where's the line on impeding? So I'm asking the Department of Justice, who are the prosecutors, and decide who they prosecute and what the standards of that prosecution is. I simply says, at what point is that impeding? Because you can call it know your rights all you want. We all know what the bottom line is. The bottom line is how they invade law enforcement. Don't open your door. Don't answer questions. Here's what we're talking about. We're talking about people here in the country legally with a criminal conviction who had due process at great taxpayer expense and were ordered deported by a federal judge, but became a fugitive. And we're talking about don't open your door to ICE. You don't have to answer questions. I think it's more about how to invade law enforcement, not to get arrested, even though there's a federal warrant for your arrest. How to evade that rather than know your rights. Now, we can argue about that all day long. They have the right to know their rights. The Constitution said they have the right to certain rights, but also, I hope to God we're not, educating people.
All of this is stemming from a tweet that Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez put out there about know your rights in case of ICE. All of this is stemming from the fact that we're using the United States Constitution. We're going by the law of the land. Just because Donald Trump has fooled you and conned you into thinking that you can't or you shouldn't or it's okay for you to break the law, Tom, doesn't mean you should. But let's look at what exactly Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did. I'm not going to do the AOC thing because I think it's pretty damn disrespectful. In her first tweet, she says, "Believe it or not, in America, everyone has rights. Citizen or not, we should all know our rights to protect ourselves and others from illegal searches and seizures. ICE often attempts to enter homes without a proper warrant. They can go get one. Here's our shareable guide." And of course, this is the shareable guide. Know your rights in case of ICE. And you can see it's translated in Mexican on bomb. Now, I'm going to go through this step by step as she printed it. So you might want to sit down and relax and listen very carefully, because she's not telling people to obstruct the investigation. She is doing this because she's saying all of this under the Constitution. 1, do not open your door. ICE cannot enter your home without a warrant signed by a judge. Tell the judge to show you the warrant by sliding it under the door. So your problem with that, Tom, is what exactly? 2, ask them to leave. If ICE does not have a warrant, tell them you do not consent for them to enter your home and ask them to leave. At work, ICE cannot enter employment-only areas without permission. Well, we already know that you violated that, Tom, an ICE. 3, remain silent. You have the right to remain silent. If agent asks you any questions, tell them I wish to remain silent. 4, do not share personal information. Do not answer questions about your immigration status, where were you born, or your criminal history. Now, they can infer on that any way they want, any way they can think if you don't answer questions. They can say that they're guilty, or they can say that immigrants are hiding something, but at the end of the day, you have the right to stay silent. Don't try to let them bully you into thinking otherwise. 5, do not sign anything. Don't sign any document without first speaking to an attorney. And 6, speak to a lawyer. Consult with a lawyer ahead of time. If you're arrested by ICE, they will not provide you with an attorney, so be prepared. So Tommy boy, tell me something. Where in any of this that I just showed you that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez actually said obstruct justice? She didn't. She's informing people about what your rights are under the law, which is the United States Constitution. The very thing you Republicans say you respect and support, but in the end of the day, you will burn to a cinder for the sake of Donald John Trump. But let's look into specifics as to what constitutional rights that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is she talking about. Obviously, she's talking about the First, Fourth, and Fifth Amendments to the United States Constitution. The First Amendment, obviously the Bill of Rights. The Fourth Amendment, protecting against unreasonable searches and seizures by the U.S. government. And the Fifth Amendment, protecting citizens from self-incrimination, double jeopardy, and arbitrary government actions. She's informing people about our rights as American citizens, as people in this country. And you find this a problem, Tom? Apparently you do. Apparently all of you in the MAGA do. All of you have a problem again with the Constitution of these United States. Because it's protecting people that you hate to a passion. And for what? Not to make our country safer, because it hasn't. Right now, the only threat that I see in this country are Donald Trump and his supporters in government and out of government. No immigrant has ever been a threat to me. No person from Mexico has ever threatened me, but I know a lot of Americans wearing the big red hats, waving the MAGA flag as hard as they can, that have been a threat to me. They have threatened me all because I'm A, a black man, and B, not a Donald Trump supporter. So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was informing people about what can and can't be done as Americans in this country under the law. You know, that unfortunate thing that's blocking Donald Trump and Tom Herman and so many other people in this country from doing what they really want to do to people of color, whether they're American citizens or not. Fact of the matter is this: know your Constitution, know your rights in this country. Because let me tell you something, these people couldn't give two shits about the Constitution. They do not care. All they care about is two things. One, doing a good job for Donald Trump so you can say good things about them on Twitter and Truth Social. And 2, eliminating all the colored folk to make it a whites-only country. And they're not doing it to protect American citizens. They're doing it to have their country back to the days of Jim Crow. This Gestapo move that Tom Holman is pushing on the American country, and now saying that it's illegal, that it should be prosecuted to tell people about their constitutional rights and what ICE can and can't do under the law, that is the founding basis of fascism. Don't think I'm hyperbole in saying that. But when you have someone who says that the law, in this case the United States Constitution, should not be followed, and those who do should be prosecuted for telling others their rights under the Constitution, as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did here, I say it again. That's not a constitutional republic. That is fascism. Tom Holman and Donald Trump and the rest of his MAGA minions are pushing this country away from being a constitutional republic towards fascism. And we must fight against that. Do we have an immigration problem in this country? Yes. But sending federal agents like Gestapo door to door, intimidating American citizens as well as immigrants, is not the way to handle things. And certainly telling people not to follow the Constitution and use the Constitution under the law, not knowing our rights, as Tom Holman practically did here, shows how dangerous these people really are. I'm going to close out this video with the second part of her tweet. Know Your Rights, Part 2. If you're pissed that I'm educating the people of this country of their constitutional rights, that is on you. And yes, immigrants have rights too. This is the land of the free. I'm sorry, Tom Holman, that you, Donald Trump, and the rest of the MAGA minions forgot what that phrase, land of the free, means. But it seems we're going to have to educate you. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.